In this video, we're going to talk about a schema that activates a level of fear that is debilitating for those that experience it. It has us reacting in ways that are really not effective for us to live the life we want to live and be the person that we want to be in those areas of life that are important to us. Some people start lashing out at people around them, and others completely withdraw from life itself. So today, let's talk about the schema of abandonment. When the schema of abandonment is activated in our system, as I said before, we're left sitting in a space that is dominated by the emotion of fear. It's often a constant sense of anxiety about the instability of our intimate connections with the people who hold the most meaning in our lives. Whether this fear is real and therefore justified, or if it's a completely subjective point of view that's been heightened as a result of the psychological filters attached to this particular schema, is completely irrelevant. It leaves us with the rigid belief that people who are important in our lives will no longer continue to be there for us because they're either emotionally unpredictable, they're only present erratically, they're going to die, or they will leave us for somebody better sooner or later. This schema is usually derived from a perception of instability in the early childhood environment that leads to a number of different unmet childhood needs. These emotionally activating situations happen often enough to create the belief that people won't be there for us when we need them the most. However, at the same time, it's worth pointing out that this schema may also arise as a result of growing up in a proverbial bubble of protection where things are constantly done for us. This leaves us completely dependent on others to get things done, and it generally leads to the development of a significant amount of fear in our system for what might happen if this protection is no longer there. The schema of abandonment for me was one that revolved around a fundamental belief that I was going to lose anyone that I get close to, and therefore be left completely emotionally isolated forever. When this story was active in my system, it felt like there was a constant sense of despair around relationships that were important. And while it was prominent in my intimate partnerships, it was also something that I experienced in any kind of group activity, sometimes at work, and in what were perceived as casual relationships too. As I previously mentioned, there are generally two distinct types of story that are associated with the schema of abandonment, and they usually manifest as a result of two different types of childhood experiences. The first type comes from an environment that's emotionally unstable and unpredictable for the developing child trying to make sense of their place in the world. If this was the environment that you grew up in, it can leave you with thoughts and feelings that people aren't there for you with any degree of consistency. The second type, which often gets overlooked, comes from an environment that is experienced as being too secure and overprotected in one way or another. Everything is done to make sure that we don't suffer or struggle in any way at all, and there is always somebody there to pick up the pieces from our mistakes. If this was the environment that you grew up in as a child, your current adult behaviour patterns are going to be connected to a combination of the schema of abandonment and the schema of dependency. For me, this was a huge light bulb moment when I realised why my story was the way that it was. It allowed me to develop my awareness for the reasons why I had so much anxiety around developing relationships that were close, emotionally intimate, and connected at a deeper level. Working with this story, or combination of stories, is an incredibly effective way to improve our attachment style, and it's also really beneficial in developing our ability to live the life we want to live. In the PDF at the bottom of the website page that's connected to this particular video, you're going to find a worksheet that's intended to support you in deciding whether the schema of abandonment is something that might be active in your own personality system. Take some time to download it and work through the questions to build awareness for the stories you might have that are connected to this particular schema. If you've got an opinion on this, or actually anything else to do with the integration of DBT and schema therapy, leave a comment in the chat. I'd love to hear your point of view. If you want to know more, come join the live online meetings that I facilitate each week for free on Zoom. I'll leave some links in the description below. As always, if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications to get all the latest from me and the Liberation Place. I really hope this video gave you some insight for how the schema of abandonment might be something that's influencing the way that you currently see the world. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care, be safe, and be well.